Hey guys, and welcome to the V-Synced podcast. My name is Marcus, and this is episode 1. This is a pretty big day for me. I've never done a podcast before, so this should be interesting. I don't really have a layout made up quite yet. We'll figure that out as the podcast episodes continue to come out. But I just wanted to make episode 1 by myself before I start bringing in any guests or anything, because I kind of wanted to introduce you guys to the channel, the podcast, whatever this is called on Spotify, if it's even on Spotify, which that's kind of currently a work in progress. So for now, you probably are just listening to this on YouTube. So I kind of wanted to give an introduction to myself and the podcast in general. So, my name is Marcus. I also am a Minecraft animator, known as Synced Up. Some of you, probably none of you, but some of you probably remember me as That Emerald Pro. And we'll actually probably have a podcast on that at some point in the future, just talking about those times, because that'd be a lot of fun. But I've kind of been, around on the interwebs for years and years and years, but until recently, I haven't really tried to go anywhere with it. Here in the last, year or so, I've been trying to get a lot more into my animation stuff, and getting things made for my channel over there. And then just, I've gotten a lot more active on Twitter lately. Met a lot more people. It seems to be a better avenue than Instagram. So I've kind of put my Instagram on the wayside, and I'm just kind of doing things on Twitter now. But actually, that kind of is a good segue into talking about kind of why I am doing this podcast in the first place. So I'm a very passionate person when it comes to something that I'm really interested in. And because of that, there's a lot of times where I can get really excited about something, or I really want to talk about something, and I can sit down and talk about that same thing forever. And a lot of my friends and my own girlfriend at times get very frustrated at me because I will just sit here and talk, on text and things like that, about certain things, like some new Marvel trailer came out, and I'm just picking it apart and like looking for all the juicy Easter eggs and theorizing about stuff and all this kind of things. And like, my girlfriend can keep up to it with a certain extent, but most of my friends, they're like, dude, we don't even care about Marvel. And I'm like, I don't have anyone I could talk to that is as passionate about this kind of stuff as I feel like I am. So I thought the podcast could be a fun thing where I could bring on someone else, as a guest to kind of come in and, me and that person kind of talk about certain topics in that episode and kind of just, bounce off each other, thoughts and opinions and stuff like that. And it could be, a lot of fun. We'll see kind of where that goes. I don't know if every episode, if we're going to have someone on the podcast, I'm not sure quite yet. The plan is that I do want to have, a guest on each episode, but you never know. There could be a week where it's like I couldn't really find anyone that, they wanted to be on the podcast, had good audio, knew enough about the topics for that episode to, hold a conversation about it, that kind of thing. So, but, so I don't really have, much else to, kind of go off of for this podcast. I guess I could just kind of talk about plans for the future here. I guess I could just kind of go off of the podcast itself. I would like this podcast in the future. Most of the episodes, this episode is going to be a little bit different just because this is kind of just the introduction episode. It's not meant to be a really long episode. But when I start bringing guests in, I'd like this to kind of be around about an hour or so. We'll kind of see. I mean, I'm not going to stretch out a podcast just to hit a timestamp. Like, if we kind of run out of stuff to talk about, then there's no point in just kind of prolonging, that time just to hit like an hour mark. I don't like that idea. So we'll kind of see on that. I don't know yet if I'm going to make this a weekly podcast or a bi-weekly podcast. I'm really not sure yet. It honestly, I need to get through the first couple of episodes to really see how long it takes for me to, figure out what my turnaround time is on this. Because like right now, let's just say this for right now. I'm recording this currently at 10:15 a.m. Monday morning on April 5th, 2021. So whenever you guys are seeing this video coming out, that's basically what I consider the turnaround time for this episode. I've got to go to work here in 4 or 5 hours or so, and I have some other stuff I have to do today, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get around to editing this down into a video. Actually, also, that's a good point too. The video. You guys are probably listening to this right now on YouTube because that's probably about the only place that this is currently. I will try to get this on Spotify and other stuff soon, but I've got some details I have to work out with all those things. But for now, we're just here on YouTube. I do plan on eventually having a webcam, at least for myself. I'm not going to make a guest, use a webcam if they don't want to. But I definitely kind of want to, just because I feel like it, makes the podcast a bit more personal. But I'm currently in the process of creating my own desktop setup, and I don't have a webcam yet, so I kind of can't do webcam. I also kind of need to get my background figured out a bit more and maybe some lights or something. I don't know. That's still a work in progress, but I am planning on it being a thing eventually. Because I know staring at this graphic of the logo for the podcast is not the most interesting thing in the world, but I know that a lot of people, when they listen to podcasts, they just kind of turn it on and they just listen to it. That's what the point of a podcast is. The visual side of it is just kind of a bonus for anyone watching on YouTube. But even then, like most podcasts on YouTube, they don't really, show a lot. It's just people on webcam talking. So, I'm not too concerned about making that a thing right now, but, we'll see. So, anyways, I just, want to thank you guys for joining the podcast. Episode 1 here. I know it wasn't that long of an episode. We're rolling up on about 9 minutes or so here. Yeah, I just want to thank you guys. Hope you guys stick around, subscribe to the channel, and continue listening. I promise the next episodes will be longer than roughly about 10 minutes. I'm not even trying to hit that 10-minute mark. I'm looking at my thing as I'm talking right now, and it's actually saying it's 8.5 minutes. So I'm whatever. So yeah. If you guys want to follow me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch, all at synced up with an underscore after it, and I'll, of course, have these in the description. You can also find my own YouTube channel for all my animation stuff over at Synced Up. You'll probably have to search it by channel filter because I don't have a whole lot of videos on there yet, and if you look up Synced Up, you're going to find a ton of stuff. So it's synced with a space and then up. You probably have to filter it by channel, and it'll be like a little red icon with a obvious white up arrow and the black S or whatever. But again, I will have all this in the description below. So, without further ado, I will see you guys in the next episode. See ya.